Hello, everybody. Hello, Nrup. Hello, viewers. Welcome to Heroes of the Season. That's right. We're
Oh
doing
shit.
Heroes of the Season. Yeah, 2024, 2025.
Am I in the right show? Maybe I should get to the other one. I think I'm missing this show called Heroes of the Week.
Yeah, it's the same show essentially. And the only difference is that we are kind of going to sum up the entire season, right? So our picks will be based on the performance of the players and teams in the entire season, I guess. But first things first, Noop, how are you?
Still recovering. I'm much better. Thank you for that. I still have some cough and maybe some blocked nose, so I hope that the viewers don't mind. But yeah, I just got some weird, funny flu after a very, very long time, thanks to the sudden weather change. But yeah, still recovering.
Okay, glad you're feeling better. And well, let's kick it off. Let's kick us off with
Yeah.
first some admin. Sorry for the letdown. It's a twist in the story. Before we do the segment, I would like to do a little bit of admin. Three things on my mind, Noop. Number one,
Okay.
shout out to PSG for winning the Champions League, for absolutely thrashing Inter Milan. That's the first thing I should say. Secondly, disclaimer, my personal picks for the season will basically only be about the Premier League and the Czech League, because those are the two leagues that I am familiar with the most. I don't really watch any matches in La Liga or Serie A, very rarely in Bundesliga. That's why I don't feel qualified enough to put any names on that list. I could do so, which I normally do in the Heroes of the Week sometimes. But I think for this one, I have to get it right. So I'm just going to be doing Czech League and the Premier League. So that's my second disclaimer. And the third one is that the jingles that we're going to use for the Heroes of the Season are exactly the same that I use for teams, Heroes of the Week, right? So it will say Team of the Week, Hero of the Week. But just imagine it's season instead of week. Okay. I was too lazy to make them. It would take me a lot of time. And considering it's just for one video per season, per like 1 year, it just, yeah, I was lazy. So, Noop, do you have any more disclaimers to add on the list?
I wasn't prepared for your disclaimers itself, but I have no idea. I'm just gonna go with the flow, I'm just gonna be raw, unprepared in some way, and yeah, let's see.
Yeah, I'm also unprepared, but like, at least I wrote down my picks. At least I did that.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
I'm impressed. I wasn't. I'm surprised with that. Yeah, let's go.
And lastly, I think before we started recording, you mentioned this, or you sort of alluded to the fact that I'm what the hell I'm wearing. Well,
Yeah.
it is what we call a spoiler. It is a spoiler. Spoiler alert. Okay, we'll get to that in no time. Are you ready to rumble, Nope?
Yeah, I guess.
Let's go. By the way, viewers, those of you watching us live, you can obviously write down your pick in the comments. Please do so. We would love to see what you think. Let's go with the team of the season. What's your team of the season?
Well, that's.
I think I know. I think I know.
Okay, I would like to know. I would like to know what you think.
I think what I think is your pick, or what I think is mine.
Yeah, like what do you think I would choose?
I think you should be choosing Barcelona because you won the La Liga. It's the team you support. You did quite well this season, right? You thrashed in Real Madrid each time. Isn't it Barcelona?
Unfortunately, no. I would love to, but Barcelona are missing something which this team has got it, and
Mm.
especially this team is a team that has gotten my respect this season, and
Mhm.
it's Paris Saint-Germain.
Paris
And
Saint-Germain, here we go. And I thought I would put
yeah,
them just in the in the sort of introduction because I didn't expect any of us to mention them. Wow, okay. Fair enough.
yeah, yeah, it's my team of the season, and
Hmm.
the only reason is that they have been the most decorated team this season at the top
Hmm.
level. I mean, of
Hmm.
course, they have been dominating League One or the French football in general by
Yeah.
whatever their means, money, influence, whatever you can call it. But this
Hmm.
season, with the squad they had, with the manager, the squad looked younger, fresh, and the manager he brought in some nice tactics, which has been really successful, fruitful, and we saw that they won the league quite early, quite comfortably,
Yeah.
and then followed by they won a couple
And
small small competitions in French football like uh, Coupe de France and all of that. Followed by they went on to win UCL comprehensively by
yeah,
beating
the Champions
huge
League,
teams.
UCL, yeah.
Yeah, they
Mm.
beat so many big teams
They beat
like
Arsenal, right, as
Manchester,
well. Mm.
Arsenal, Manchester
Yeah.
City, Inter Milan,
Well,
Liverpool.
they deserved it.
So
They
yeah,
deserved it in the end.
they deserved it. They
The
deserved it
way I
very
see it,
much.
yeah, the way I see it, we haven't really mentioned the French league here, La Ligue, not La Liga. What's it called? The
Ligue 1,
French league, Ligue
Ligue 1.
1. Yeah, Ligue 1. We haven't really mentioned it here. The main reason is I find it a bit boring because it's always PSG who win it, and they seem to be head and shoulders above everyone else. So that's part of the reason I find it boring. Um, because you kind of know it's a foregone conclusion how it's going to end, so you kind of know before you even start watching the season, right? But also, I just don't know much about League On, but it's nice that you mentioned it. And I also think regarding Paris Saint-Germain, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but what happened there is that they realized they needed a different approach, and rather than buying all the superstars, imagine that was a team where they had Neymar, when they had Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe at the same time, and they still didn't win the
Also
champion.
Ramos. They had Ramos as
Right.
well, and then a couple
And
other star players.
now these players are all gone, and okay, they still have great players, but now they don't have such sort of superstars, right? Of this stature, and look at them now. So this only
Yeah,
goes to
now it's the
show that it's not
PSG
only
that
about
that
stars,
is
is it?
admirable. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I agree with you. Back then they
Mhm.
had stars, but I think they also did not have the right manager, in my opinion. Like, imagine
Okay.
someone like Pochettino managing, like they legit had Pochettino for a season, and imagine him
Mm.
managing that front three and all those stars of the team. I don't think they deserved that. But
Okay.
anyway, they have gotten their things right. They have fixed it, and yeah, they're back. I like this PSG team. It reminds me of that PSG team that I used to like when it was when Ibrahimovic used to play. When you had uh, Laurent Blanc as the manager, I used to like that team. I used to admire that team. Like they had these fours that were always a threat in any competitions, and I think
Yeah.
this is that team.
Hmm. Nice one, Roop. Nice, great pick. Well, I said spoiler alert. Can you guess my team of the season?
LFC, is that Leicester Football Club? I don't know. What is that?
No, it's not, because this is basically I am. It's a trick. I'm trying to trick you a little bit here. I have not
Oh,
picked Liverpool as my team of the season because I have picked a different team. I've picked actually a team that finished second in their league, and that is Viktoria Plzen. And the main reason is
mm,
because they make fantastic beer. No, I'm joking. Of course, there's great beer in Plzeň, Pilsner, right? But listen, this team is incredible, right? They did so well, and they've been doing so well in the past few years. It's amazing. Their budget is lower than the budget of the two biggest Czech clubs, Sparta Prague and Slavia Prague. Yet they managed to create a fantastic team, have a great manager, and are consistently good in Europe. And they are a real menace now because, of course, we are not talking about the Champions League football, but in Europa League they again did really well. Yeah, again they produce a lot of points for the Czech coefficient, and that's just amazing consistency for a club. Which, I mean, it's not the biggest club in the Czech league, and this season they finished second comfortably, and they secured the Champions League spot, so they will be in the Champions League qualifiers. Slavia Prague, the winners of the Czech league, they get the group stage guaranteed. Viktoria Plzen, I think they have to get through 3 qualifiers, so it will probably be hard to get there. But they've already secured, I think, one of the European competitions, the group stage. I think Conference League. I might be wrong about this actually, but Viktoria Plzen is my team of the season. I think they deserve it.
Wow,
They did well again. Yeah.
I'm impressed. Good, well done, Victoria Plzen. I'm looking forward to see you guys, you know, start a new era. Perhaps instead of being in a two horse race, I would love to see a third horse. Perhaps I don't know what else you call it. Maybe I don't think there is a word for it, but you have a two-horse race, and then is there a third horse race, or
Well, wait,
does it
so
become?
sorry. I'm a little bit confused. When you say 2 horse race, you mean like Sparta and Slavia?
Yeah.
No. It's
So
more about the history and fame and just
no, for sure. It's just that now that
because
Victoria Pilsen,
Plzeň have been up there. They have even won a few times in the
no,
last 2
for sure, for
decades. Yeah.
sure.
So I can't say it's been a 2 horse race, but it's more about the number of fans each club has, right? The sort of the prestige of these 2 clubs, and historically they are the 2 most successful clubs. But I wouldn't speak about 2 horse race anymore in the Czech league for the last few decades. To be fair, like 2 decades maybe, one
Nice.
for sure. Yeah. All right, Noop. Nice one. So this is teams of the season covered, and here are the heroes of the season now. Noop, you want to go first?
Oh, this is really tough. This is really tough for me.
Just
And
don't, just don't pick yourself, please. We have,
oh,
we
for
have,
sure, for sure, for sure. If it
we've
was
had
a
that
week,
before.
maybe. If it was a week, maybe. Anyway, just kidding. Uh, I think I would go for Hansi Flick, and the reason
It's
is,
coming now. Yeah, the Barcelona manager.
yeah, it's his first season, and he
Hmm.
came from a Barcelona team that was still struggling in Europe and in some aspects of the game and in some aspects of some department as well. And he completely has made the team such a strong
Yeah,
force. We
yeah,
all Barcelona, they almost had the UCL. They almost did.
that's true, right?
For some people, they even deserved to be in the final because of some
So they
decisions.
lost
But
to Inter
again,
Milan in the semi-final, right?
yeah, by
Yeah.
by one goal, it was a late
Mm.
winner by Inter
Mm.
Milan defender.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's a good
Barcelona
pick,
they
Noop.
won.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barcelona they won the league fair and square. They dominated Real Madrid. They played like 4 5 games. They beat
Mhm.
in all of those games. They beat Atletico Madrid in Copa del Rey final. They beat Real Madrid again in their another cup final, which is Super Copa de España. So yeah, like Barcelona, they have their domestic trouble,
Yeah.
and currently with the squad they have had, with the way they play, I think they are up there top 3 teams for the next season. Definitely the
Mhm.
favorites for the UCL next season. Definitely the favorites to win the league next season. So yeah, for such manager to turn this team completely upside down, or maybe instead of upside down, I would say much higher than what Xavi brought. Xavi, he built the base, he built the blueprint of the club, uh,
Yeah.
and and yeah, Hansi Flick, he has made the team much more mature, much more polished, and super
Mhm.
strong. And I think this is really heroic for me.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great pick. I expected you to include Barcelona in some capacity. You did it like this, and it's absolutely, fine and deserved, in my opinion. And you know what? it also goes to show that great minds think alike, Noop. Because
Oh,
my pick is going to be exactly the same sort of thing that you did, and that's interesting, right? What a coincidence. And now is the spoiler is now materializing finally. So for me it has to be Arne Slot, the Dutch manager of Liverpool. He really slotted in well. Remember the first week or in the second week we used this phrase about Flick, that he really slotted in well in the Liverpool's team. And honestly, I don't think anyone saw that coming. I think everybody
mm.
was expecting Liverpool to sort of
Somehow manage
fall
the
off,
fourth spot or something. Yeah.
after the um, departure of such a club legend, Jurgen Klopp, who brought the title back after so many years to Liverpool, and who was loved by the fans, right? And when he was at his final game, he started singing in front of the fans into the microphone, Arne Slot, na 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 na. It was so legendary, right? But everybody thought like, oh, okay, it's just like he's trying to support the. It's always tough act to follow a coach like that, right? A successful coach, and Arne Slot, oh boy, he dealt with it so well. And then
Mm.
in when it was his time to celebrate the title with Liverpool, he sang back, na 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 na, Jurgen Klopp. So we've come a full circle with this team. That's why I'm wearing their shirt today. I don't support them, but I have to say I don't mind them. I don't mind them. You know, there are teams that I just can't stand, but Liverpool is not one of them. I don't mind them. I think if anyone has to win it and it's not Arsenal, let it be Liverpool. Actually, that is where I stand. Nope. So yeah, that's it. Slot. You know, everything you said about Flick sort of applies to Slot as well. You know, he just it can't be so easy. It can't be easy, right, to
Mm.
follow a coach of the quality of Jurgen Klopp. Charisma, not just the quality, but the charisma he had. And yeah, Slot did it. Fantastic. He managed to work with all those superstar like Mohamed Salah and yeah.
Van Dijk and all of that. Yeah. Well,
What else can you wish
it's
for really if you are a Liverpool fan?
mm,
Hmm. Okay, so
it's a hard pill
let's
to swallow, but yeah.
yeah, let's do villains of the week. Yeah. Okay. Hmm.
So, villain of the season, or is it
Ah,
the week?
sorry, I messed it up, didn't I? I knew it would happen at least once. Villain of the season, ladies and gentlemen. This is not the villain of the week. This is not the villain of the day either. It's a villain of the season. That's a bit harsh. Like, imagine you are that villain and you get this accolade. Imagine you win this trophy. To be honest, I don't think these people listen, these famous people listen or watch this channel. But
Well,
I
you
mean,
never know. These guys, yeah, we could. It all depends on the holy algorithm of this website.
yeah, holy.
This algorithm can make you reach anywhere
Mm. And it's not in our favor
for
for
sure.
yet. So anyway, so villains. Hmm. You have to pick
Uh,
just one. I was
okay.
finding it hard because always sort of like when I was looking for my villain, it was always sort of clubs that came to mind. The clubs that
Mm,
let us down. The clubs that people didn't expect. People
mm,
expected much higher than they finished. Right.
mm,
So I can tell you what I did in the end. I made a compromise. I'm gonna give it to the Glazers,
okay.
which is not the one person, but I think it's fair enough because it's a family, right? At least it's not like a
Well,
team.
I
It's the
now
owners of
finally
yeah.
finally you can understand me when I used to pick my villains of the week.
Basically, I'm siding with Gary Neville, the pundit, the ex-player, and a Liverpool and a Manchester United legend. Almost made a Freudian slip there, and I think that the responsible party for what the heck has been happening in Manchester United has to be the owners, because they have changed so many managers and it hasn't worked under any of them, right?
Mm, mm.
So no matter what they do, it always comes back to the owner, because I don't know if that's an English phrase, but we say in Czech that the head stinks. That how is it? That the fish stinks from the head, right? That's the one. The fish stinks from the head, and the head of Manchester United are the Glazers, the Glazers family. So I wouldn't want to be a Manchester United fan this
Yeah.
season. They
Well,
finished 16th. The only one team that finished below them without getting relegated is Tottenham. Yet, it was Tottenham who beat Manchester United in Europa League final, denying them the
and
only trophy they could win. Such irony.
not
It's
this
unbelievable.
trophy, also the Champions League spot.
And the Champions League. So Tottenham, of all teams, Tottenham, which finished in the 17th place. You heard me right? 17th.
Once you're 18, you are relegated.
Yeah, 18, 19th, 20th in the Premier League, you're going down. 17th position. Even West Ham finished above them. Wolves finished above them. Everton finished above
Everton.
them. Everyone. But they won the Europa League, so they get the Champions League this season. United, oh my God. I honestly wouldn't want to be a United fan right now. Honestly
Yeah,
wouldn't.
but I'm really happy to see them in that place. I
Mhm.
am personally, as an Arsenal fan, as someone who has read and heard and seen United dominate Premier League with the way they did under Ferguson. I'm glad.
Well, you? Are you talking about yourself? How
Yeah,
old are you, mate? I thought you were much younger.
I am
how,
younger, but I'm saying
how
from what
old
I've
were you
read,
when United were dominant? You must have been like 5 or something. Come
like
on.
I said, like I said, from what I
Uh,
heard, read, and seen.
ah, okay. Sorry,
So
I misunderstood you. I thought you
yeah,
were I thought you were saying you experienced it.
no, 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 no.
No,
So
it's true.
anyway,
I do remember it. I
yeah,
wasn't watching
I'm
the
just
Premier League
glad. I'm
so
just
much
glad.
back then, but
I'm just so glad to see United where they are. In fact, I'm much more glad to see them there than Tottenham. I don't mind Tottenham anywhere below, I don't know, sixth rank, seventh rank. I
well,
don't mind them there.
question. We are talking about Tottenham, so this is like a sideway thing, right? It's a side. We are getting sidetracked, but I have to ask this question: does Tottenham winning Europa League mean that they had a more successful season than Arsenal?
No. What? How do you
A
define
lot
a
of people would say that, right? Because
how
they
do you
got a
define a
trophy,
successful season?
a major
Well, they got a
trophy.
trophy. Sure, it's a
A
major
team that,
trophy.
that doesn't win trophies as well, that has an empty trophy cabinet under
No,
normal
for sure.
circumstances.
But like I said, it's like you're comparing. On one hand, you have the whole iceberg, and on the other hand, you have just a popsicle. So even though both
It's
have
like apples and
tips,
oranges. Yeah.
yeah. Well, even though both have icy tips, doesn't mean that you know one
So,
is colorful and
s-
flavorful, other one is bland and nothing.
so what you are saying basically is that Europa League is a Mickey Mouse Cup.
Yeah, in my opinion, any European competition is, in my opinion, okay. In my opinion, doesn't define the best team in Europe. It is
Well, that is
definitely
true,
the
but it
difference.
was not about the best team in Europe. It was
No,
about
no, no.
whether
Let me
Arsenal
finish.
had a
Let me
more
finish.
successful
Yeah, yeah,
season
no,
than
for sure.
Tottenham.
No, for
So
sure. Let me finish.
are you telling me that Arsenal had a more successful season than Tottenham then?
Yeah, because it
You see,
showed that we
I'm not
can.
sure. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
well, no,
Second
well,
again,
that's
second
second
again, right?
again.
Yeah,
There is,
and again after
and we were
falling
not
off, right?
lucky.
So
Yeah,
the
but
first half of
with
the season was
with
better.
the way we came second, and also it also depends on luck. Like Tottenham, they didn't reach Europa League final. I mean, think of it. When you have a Europa League final between two teams which are 17th and 16th in their leagues, I don't think that's hard work. I don't think that's I
Does it
don't think you
show the
call that.
quality of the league then? Does it show that the league has the quality because it has teams that even finish
No,
in?
I don't think it. I don't think it shows anything about the league. I think it's just pure coincidence. Lots of luck. Lots of luck factor, in my opinion.
Mm. Okay. No, we have to move on. So, what's your team of the season then? No, sorry, villain of
Uh,
this.
Villain
Villain
of the
of the
season.
season. Where am I? I'm getting
Yeah.
lost. I'm traveling in time. Right,
Okay.
villain of the season. Nope.
I think it's pretty easy or pretty based, as they say in some terms. It's PGMOL of English football.
Can you please speak English to me? What did you just
Ah,
say?
it's the PGMOL.
PGMOL.
Yeah, PGMOL. PGMOL means the Professional Game Match Officials Limited, which means it's the board of referees that organize and orchestrate, maybe not organize, orchestrate the league. And
Nope,
yeah,
you just killed this show.
well,
Not only
it's
did I not
still
know, I've heard this before. Like
it's
all
still
these.
not it's still not
So
one. It's still,
basically, the refs, you're giving it to all the refs in the Premier League.
well, I'm giving it to the board, just like how you're doing it, just like how you said Glazers. You did not mention Sir Jim Ratcliffe or whatever that name is. You said Glazers. So just
I
like
said
that,
the
I said
Glazer family,
PG.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because
family. You
they
went
are
with
the
family,
owners
not
of the share, right?
yeah, but you got to mention the precise person.
PGMLO or whatever it was, yeah.
PGMOL.
The
It's the
PGMOL, everyone.
of
Can't say I agree with
of
that,
the
but
English league, of the English
of the
Premier League.
English league, so not of any other league. So basically, does that include VAR as well?
Oh, for sure. VR is just a technology. It doesn't
Okay.
represent. It's not a human.
It's the people who run it, isn't it?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, Nope.
But yeah,
That was an
my reason is
exciting
pretty
pick.
obvious. My reason is pretty obvious. But yeah, like in if for those people who aren't following what I'm trying to say, it's
Yeah,
that
like me.
they have been. Yeah, oh, lovely. Well, they have been the reason for many upsets, many unfair decisions, many
Okay.
unfair things happening in the league.
To
And
Arsenal,
yeah,
especially, right? Many
I'm
unfair
talking about
things.
the league, but yeah,
Mhm.
let's talk. And when it comes to Arsenal, they have had a fair share in making us drop points and hurting
Mhm.
us in the bigger run, and putting us further and further away from the top spot. I mean,
Yeah.
fair and square, Liverpool won the league, but that margin would have been much more closer, much more closer. It wouldn't be 10, 12 points, whatever that number was. It would have been maybe two, three, four, in my opinion. And yeah, they have been fair villains, in my opinion, for a very
Yeah.
long time. And I hope they remember me for accusing them of it. And yeah, what do you think, Staniak?
Yeah, I think I'm surprised by this pick, but it actually all comes together because you've been consistently picking referees for the villains of the season for the entire season, right? So I think it makes sense that you went for this. Don't know why I was expecting you to pick just one person, but then again, I did exactly the same. So
Mm,
who am I
looks
to
like
tell
we
you what to do if I do the same thing, right? Hmm.
looks like we have got uh, some comments. We have got some visitors.
Yeah, we've got Gianluca in the house, and Gianluca says the way Inter Milan lost the Champions League is horrifying.
Mm,
Completely not present in the game. He's a Juventus fan, Gianluca, isn't he?
yeah, I think so.
He's having a go at Inter Milan because Juventus fans don't really get on with uh, Inter Milan fans, as far as I know.
For
They are
sure. But it's
huge
just that,
rivals.
for sure.
Mm,
But
mm.
it's just, I think it's more. It's also about representing Italy, and I do think of Inter Milan a lot ever since they lost the final. In fact, I
Yeah.
wanted them to win the final just to balance things out, just to keep the
Okay.
equilibrium,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
Inter Milan had the opportunity to win four titles, the Serie A,
Mm.
UCL, and many
That's
other
what
things. But yeah,
that's what Gianluca is saying. They were always the runners up. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
kind of yeah,
Bottlers of the season, in my
authors
opinion.
of the season. We need a new segment. And as Gianluca says, for him, they are not villains. Paper is unlucky team of the season, right? We could have that segment, but
Ma- Would
he
you,
says it's
Zdenek,
disappointing.
would you say that Tottenham were a better team than them? Did they have a better season than them?
Tottenham would be just a miracle of the season or something like that. Miracle of the season. We need new segments for the new season. Yeah, so that's
Moving on.
cool. Thank you very much, Gianluca, for your comments as always. We do appreciate them, and we need more of these from other people too. So if any of you are watching this or enjoy the show, why don't you just contribute with a comment like that? It's lovely. Just tell us about your league.
Yeah,
We
we
would
love
like
engagement.
we want more engagement here. That's right. So Noop, now we have to do takeaway of the season. Okay, let's do
Mm.
it. Takeaway of the season. Okay, so what do you think?
It's a tough one, but I think I would love to still continue. My takeaway of the season has to be about Inter Milan, Internazionale, as how the Italians would say it.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, this team has been really good, and I think they have been unlucky.
Hmm.
If you look at it in the past two transfers or three transfers, or ever since that final against City that they lost, they have only made one signing, and that was the goalkeeper. And imagine with the squad they already had, few Deadwood players, few rejects, with all
Yeah.
of that, relatively new manager, Filippo Inzaghi.
Hmm.
Uh, it's just that this team, they deserved so many things. They deserve much more than what they are right now.
Yeah.
And they really, unfortunately, bottled it. They did not have the finishing factor. They couldn't adapt to those final touches, and I really feel sorry for them. They won my respect when I saw the game against Barcelona, arguably one of the greatest UCL semifinals of all time,
Yeah.
and yeah, they deserved some trophy, and yeah,
Well,
it's just that
they got one trophy in the end, and it's called the takeaway of the season trophy.
for sure, for sure.
Not sure
I
they are happy
really.
about that, but not sure if it's enough for them. But
Mm.
it will have to do.
And then right now there are talks about the manager potentially leaving the league or maybe shifting a new club since he has got an Al Hilal contract on his table, and with
On his
the with,
table, in his
yeah,
office.
in his office he already has a fat contract from Al Hilal. So yeah, I mean, uh, let's
Yeah.
see. I think the future looks grim
Yeah.
for Inter Milan. But yeah, what a team! What a run they have had in the past couple years.
Yeah. Okay, then, nope, that's lovely. So, my takeaway of the season is going to be from the Czech League again, and actually kind of from the English League. I would like to look at two teams that sort of mirrored each other's season, and that's Sparta Prague in the Czech League and Manchester City in the Premier League.
Ooh.
It's just such a hilarious from one point of view, and from the other point of view, it's just such a tragic sort of fate for these clubs. So Sparta Prague got into the Champions League after 15 years of not being
Mm,
there. 15 years. What a start to their season. Incredible. Like, getting through their qualifiers, making it to Champions League. The fans were absolutely buzzing. And they were okay-ish in the league. They got 4 points out of their first two Champions League games. Nobody expected that. And then since then, it all went downhill. And it started with the Manchester City defeat 6-0 or 5-0 or something like that away from home. And after that, everything went downhill. In the league, they started losing games left, right, and center. In the end, they barely secured the fourth place, which is a Conference League qualifier. And ironically, Manchester City, who thrashed them in that Champions League game, in that memorable game, they it was also the turning point for them, because since that from that moment they also started playing badly. I remember it really well, and started
Really,
losing games in the Premier League in an unprecedented manner.
I
We have
thought it
not
was a different incident for them.
No, it was kind of similar. It was that game. I think it was the last game they won, and then they had this run of like defeats, like
But
eight,
I was
nine
thinking of,
defeats in like 10 games or something like that, right?
for me, there the the turning point of Manchester City was Arsenal's game where they drew,
I know what you mean.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
And
But anyway, uh,
Haaland telling Arteta stay
yeah,
humble, which we
yeah,
have mentioned on the show so many times,
so
but
many times.
it had to be mentioned again. Yeah, no, you're
Yeah,
right. You're right. That could have been one of them, but then they at least beat Sparta.
mm,
And from that moment, it all went downhill for them. But
mm,
credit to them, they managed to save the season, securing a Champions League spot.
mm.
So at least they got that. So I think they finished fourth or third, one of those
Third,
two.
third.
Third, which is, considering what they went through, it's actually
Mm.
kind of good, right? Kind of
Like
they
it
had a
just
strong,
shows
strong.
it just shows how strong they are. Even in their worst season,
Uh,
they'll somehow end up third, and that too with
uh,
a small margin,
that's
not with a huge margin.
that is true. That is true. I have to say, like this is those two stories are incredible. And they share a lot of similarities actually, and hilarious,
Interesting.
and also tragic for the fans of those clubs, of course.
Mm.
Yeah, and it will be interesting to see what happens next season, if they manage to sort of bounce back from that, or
Yeah,
it
we don't
gets
know
even
what's the
worse.
future.
It
We
could
still
even be
have to
worse.
wait. We are still waiting for the verdict behind
Yeah,
the FFP charges they have had. Let's see.
right. Yeah. Okay. Great. Nope. And the final segment, which it seems a bit out of place here, seems to be a
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
odd.
I don't.
Why,
I'm
why,
still
would, why
looking
would
for.
there why would there be vocabulary of the season?
Oh my god, this is the most anticipated segment in my opinion.
I think everybody hates this. Everybody's like, "Oh God, not that, please! Can you just skip over that?" I have to do that, guys, because I just want to show people that I'm an English teacher, and you can hire me as your private teacher. I can give one-to-one lessons, or I also have a group for English learners, which you can join. It's like a community. You pay for it, but there are some really cool people, international people of with high-level English, and I think it's a great place to develop your own English skills and get your confidence and English speaking practice. So that's why I sort of have to show what I can do as a teacher, or at least sort of, uh, I don't know if I'm really showing it by explaining one item of vocabulary, but it's more like letting you know that I'm still out here, right? I haven't disappeared as a teacher. I haven't turned into a pundit. Oh God, no. I'm just doing a show with my friend Noop about football. Yeah, we just happen to have a show about football, but I'm still a teacher, everyone. Yeah, right. Nope, this is the vocabulary of the season.
Mm.
And it's not really vocabulary of the season. It's something you said today when you were talking about PGL, PGOL. What was it?
PGMOL, PGMOL.
PGMOL of the English football. Um, you said that we sort of talked about the fact that several teams were on the receiving end of some bad decision, some bad refereeing decisions, and I suggested that in particular Arsenal, because I know it's a running theme on this show, coming
Mm.
from you especially. And also sort of in a joking way, I mentioned it, and to which you responded, "Yeah, Arsenal have had a fair share of those." So I really love this expression, to have a fair share of something, ladies and gentlemen, which means that you have had a lot more of something, a lot more than enough of something bad, usually, right? So if some bad stuff has happened to you, you have had a fair share of bad luck, we could say, a fair share of unlucky moments in your life. So this is a nice expression to talk about something that has happened in your life repeatedly. And so Arsenal have had a fair share of bad refereeing decisions, against them, right? Like VAR calls, like offsides and red cards,
Red
like
cards, yeah.
Declan Rice. We remember that one, right? That nobody ever, referees didn't do it again after that. It only happened once. That he got a red card for kicking the ball away like 2 meters from from the spot it was supposed to be taken from. Stuff like that. So that's a lovely item of vocabulary from you, Nrup. And that's the vocabulary of the season. Not sure if it's the
Wow.
vocabulary of the season, but it's certainly the vocabulary of this show, of this particular episode, which seems to be the longest one we've ever done. How do you feel about that?
I really love it. It feels like we almost did Zdenek's Footglish podcast, but at the same time, we're still sticking to the elements of
Yeah.
Heroes of the Week.
That podcast is still alive and kicking, but I need to take a break, and it won't be published as often as I used to. I think, as I used to do it. But I would like to keep this up. I would like to keep this show up as well, Noop. However, it's the end
Mm.
of the season, so there's no point in going on
Well, I
until
mean,
it
it's not
season
really the
starts.
end of the season. Like you still have the Nations League. There will be the
Uh,
Club World Cup happening. But again, it
not the
depends. Like,
Nations League, not the Nations League, the qualifiers, the World Cup qualifiers. I think
oh,
you mean. Yeah,
okay,
the Czech Republic are going to play against Montenegro, I think, and
France
Croatia.
against Spain.
And Croatia. Oh, that one. I'm sorry. So that's the final, the Nations League final. I'm
I think
sorry.
it's the final. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
yeah.
And
So.
then also there will be under 21s Euros. So yeah,
Mm.
you're right. It's not entirely the end of the season, but like the main stuff is over unless you follow the
Yeah.
club World Club of football or whatever it's
So it's
called.
not the final, it's the semi-final because you have
Okay,
Germany, Portugal on the other hand, and then you have Spain and France.
that's fair. That's fair.
But
Right,
anyway,
but
like the season is
yeah,
still there, but I think it's such elements, such segments are usually part of the pre-season part.
I
So
think
yeah.
it's good time for us to sort of take a break, and I hope you guys don't mind us taking a break. Maybe you might be over the moon that you finally won't hear us every week. And yeah, I think we will be back here because usually with the new season, it's kind of exciting time. The first few rounds, we can't get enough of football, right? I always sort of watch more games than I end up watching later on. Later on, I'm sort of fading away. So I'm pretty sure we will be on the same boat with Noop, and we will be back with this show. I think it's a nice concept. Hopefully you like it, and I would like to use this as an opportunity to thank Noop for always joining me, or not always, but
Exactly. Not always, almost
almost
always. Yeah.
always.
Thank you.
Um, rain or shine, Noop is almost always here. So
Oh
thank you
my
for
God.
that. And also thank you to our viewers for watching us regularly. And yeah, I don't know. What else is there to say, Noop?
Yeah, just thank you, everyone. First of all, thank you, Zdenek, for always tolerating me and having me as your guest.
Yeah.
But yeah, apart from me, I would love to thank those hundreds of viewers and people who always comment, who are somehow keeping this show at some
Alive.
base, yeah, alive in some sense. And
Yeah, that's true.
the show is still on the progress. Again, this was a pilot idea, so we would
It's
love to hear your feedback. We would love your change. We would love to hear your
uh,
changes. What would you
and
like? How you would like things to change?
and if you think that there is room for improvement, don't forget that you should always trust the process.
Mm,
All
trust
right.
the process.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone, and that's it from us
Yeah. See
for
you next
some
season.
time now. See you next season, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye.
Cheers.